Number 5. Natsumi Tsuji, also known as Nevada-tan by the internet because of the sweatshirt she presumably wore on the day of the event. Nevada-tan was a social outcast and depended on the internet for comfort. She had her own website that was based on a game called The Red Room, where she would blog for her friends to read. With more friends she makes online, the more she became dependent on it. So on the 1st June 2004, she killed a classmate called Satomi Mitarai by slitting her throat with a cutter. Then, with her clothes covered in blood, she walked back into the classroom to tell the teacher of what she did, but it was too late to save Mitarai as her heart had stopped due to the blood loss. It was said that she killed Mitarai because of a demeaning comment she made on the website that Nevada-tan was proud of. Finally, on May 29, 2008, local authorities announced that she will be released and will not be given additional sentence. Number 4. Graham Young, a smart young man fascinated with poisons. Living with his uncle and aunt, the family were constantly getting sick from an unknown origin. Thinking that some mysterious bug had spread to even people in his school, no one suspected him. It was later known that he has been experimenting on them and taking meticulous notes on the dosage he uses and their reaction to his poison. But one day, at the age of 14, his stepmother died and his aunt became suspicious. Months later, he confessed his attempted murder on people around him. Of course, he was then institutionalized, but he never stopped with experimenting with poison, because after his release, he went on to poisoning 70 more people, which killed 2 out of them. He later lived his life in prison until the 1st of August in the year 1990, where he died a month just before his 43rd birthday. Number 3. Jesse Pomeroy. He was the neighborhood bully going after younger boys and attacking them in remote areas with his fist, belt, and sometimes a knife. He was arrested for his violence and was sentenced to a reform school in Massachusetts. During his parole in February 1874, at the age of 14, a 10-year-old girl went missing. After a month of his parole, a mutilated body of a 4-year-old girl was found, which led the police to suspect Pomeroy. After further investigation, they ended up finding the body of the 10-year-old in the basement of Pomeroy's mother's dress shop. He was then pronounced guilty on December 10, 1873, and was sentenced to death in February 1875 by hanging. Number 2. Mary Bell. Found guilty of killing 2 boys in different occasions, Bell was convicted for murder at the age of 11. The first murder caused the death of a 4-year-old boy who was strangled to death. She left notes in a different location of the murder with the help of her friend Norma Joyce Bell, saying that she was responsible for the killing. But at the time, the police thought the notes were a prank. The second murder, another boy aged 3 was killed by strangulation with the friend's help. This time, a letter N, which was finished into an M, was carved with different hands on the boy's stomach. With that, Norma was acquitted while Mary served 12 years in prison. The last known news about her was that she became a grandmother in 2009. Number 1. John Venables and Robert Thompson. On 12 February 1993, the two 11-year-old boys were playing truant from school as they usually do. They stole various items such as sweets, some batteries, and blue paint, which were later found at the murder scene. Seeking some sort of amusement, they came up with a psychopathic idea of abducting a kid and seeing him die. This resulted in the death of 2-year-old James Patrick Bilger. He was abducted as shown from a CCTV in the shopping center. Then they walked for over 2.5 miles, stopping every now and again only to torture the boy. They finally stopped at a railway track where they continued to torture little Bilger. There, they kicked and stomped at him, threw rocks and bricks brutally. and the paint they had was thrown into his left eye, while the batteries were placed in his mouth. They even made the boy strip his lower clothing for what the pathologists believed was something sexual, because Bulger's foreskin had been forcibly retracted and was believed that they have also inserted some of the batteries in Bulger's anus. Final blow was from a 10-kilogram iron bar, which was dropped on Bulger's head. In the end, they left Bulger on the train tracks in hopes of making it look like an accident, where Bulger's body was cut in half by a train. The two killers were released in 2001 and given new identities, where one probably lived a normal life, while the other, child pornography was found in his computer.